Tav Kuf Yud Zayin Amud Beis, Mishnah at the top of the Amud. Matzil and Mazan Sholosh Sudas. If there is a fire, Chas v'Sholem, so previously we discussed about saving Kisvei Kodesh, now we're talking about saving food. So one is allowed to save the food that's needed for the Sholosh Sudas for Shabbos. Aroy Lodam Lodam, what is used for human consumption, food that's needed for human consumption, he's allowed to save that for people. Aroy Lebehema, what's fit for the animals, he's allowed to save for the animals what they need for that day, for the day of Shabbos. Okay, so where do we say that he's allowed to save Mazon Sholosh Sudas, the food that's needed for 3 Sudas? Naftal Dleika B'Leil Shabbos, if the fire broke out on Leil Shabbos, on Friday night before he ate the Sudas, so he has before him a chiyuv of 3 Sudas for Shabbos. So Matzil Mazon Sholosh Sudas. Then he can save what he needs for 3 Sudas because he has a mitzvah of eating 3 Sudas for Shabbos. So for each person he can save enough food for Sholosh Sudas. B'Shachritz is in the morning, so he already ate the Suda Friday night. He only has a chiyuv before him of 2 Sudas. Then Matzil Mazon Shtei Sudas. He's only allowed to save what's needed for 2 Sudas. B'Mincha Mazon Suda Achas. At Mincha it's only 1 Suda. So the Chacham hold that he's only allowed to save the amount of food that he needs for the chiyuv, the mitzvah of eating, for the number of Sudas that he has to eat for that day. Then since there is, Rav Yossi says, on Friday night you can save Mazon for 3 Sudas, then no matter when the fire breaks out, you can always save 3 Sudas per person. Meaning, over here, they're not matir and iser per se, because as opposed to the previous case by the Kisvei Kodesh where we're matir in the Maveh even though there's no shituf. Over here, we're matir in the Chotzer. And only so we're not matir, we're not relaxing any iser d'Rabbanan. We're not suspending any iser d'Rabbanan. It's only being matzalit into a Chotzer that has an eruv. The whole issue, as we'll see shortly in the Gemara, is that we're afraid that if we allow an unlimited amount, he might come to put out the fire. But in the interim, no Isser D'Rabbanan is being suspended. So therefore, Rav Yossi says, since if the fire broke out Friday night, he can say Mazon Sholosh Sudas, we always allow Mazon Sholosh Sudas. What he's doing, he's saving the food. It's mutter. It's not muksa. And it's only to a chotzer that has an eruv. So what's wrong? Why is there a limitation on how much he can save? No Isser D'Rabbanan is being relaxed over here. Nitzol let him save even more. We're afraid, since there's a fire and the person is preoccupied with trying to save his money and he might panic and therefore come to put out the fire. If you have an unlimited amount, he might be so preoccupied with it and so verkocht with it, so to speak, that he might come out to put out the fire. So therefore, they put a limitation on how much he could save for this. Allah, the sign that we learn that if a barrel of wine was on his rooftop and it broke, maybe he's allowed to bring a kli and put it under the barrel to collect the wine so he doesn't lose the wine. But he can't bring another kli and to catch water that's falling off the roof and catch it in midair. Or to bring another kli to the edge of the roof so that wine falls off and falls into that container. Well, there's no fire over there. And if you're telling me the whole Isser that's involved over here is we're afraid that he'll be preoccupied and come to do a Isser D'Oraisa, what is the issue in that case? He says, no, we're afraid that if you allow an unlimited amount of kalim, he'll come and be so preoccupied that he'll bring kalim and carry him through the Rishus HaRabim, the rice of carrying. So therefore, they put a limitation on how many kalim you can bring. So some of the Paiskim want to be Medayik, the Smag, the Paiskim, that therefore it's not really an issue of where it's in midair or whether it's level. it's a limitation on the number of keli. You can bring one keli, but not more than one keli, and it doesn't matter if it's only one. It doesn't matter in which manner you are doing it. Gufa nishbulei chavos b'reish gaga. If the barrel broke on the rooftop, maybe kli umeniach tachlev, you can bring another keli and put it under it to save the wine. But you can't bring another keli to catch it in midair or to make it level with the roof that it should fall into it. If he has gas, maybe there he could bring other kelim because he needs it for these additional people. But he can't bring the kelim, collect the wine, and then invite the guests. The guests have to be invited first. First invite, and then you can catch the additional wine. And you can't make a trick with this. You can't cheat with this. Meaning that you can't invite guests that you know that they already ate their meal, they're not going to drink the wine, and you're just using it as an excuse to invite them and therefore save the wine for yourself. It has to be genuine that you're inviting the guests for them to serve to them. But you can't be marim and invite the guests knowing that they've already eaten the meal and they're not going to drink the wine, and then you're saving it for yourself. But Mishum Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda Marim says no, it is mutter, because if there's a hefsid moment, we do allow this harama. We do allow you to do this in this manner. Let us say that whether you can do a harama, whether the Chachamim allowed you to make a harama in the case of hefsid moment is totally on this machlekes, the following machlekes, the sanya, Now you can't shech the mother and child on the same day. So if they fell into a pit on Yom Tov, you can only shech one of them. You can't shech both of them on that day. So Relezer Aimer Males Harishon Malas L'Sheichte. You can only raise up one from the bore. Right? You're allowed to be matriach, to raise up one if it's for the tzorach of Yom Tov. So therefore, you can be mala one of them with intent to shecht it, and then shecht it and use the meat for tzorach Yom Tov. And the second one you can't be matriach with because you can't shecht that for Yom Tov. You only shecht one of them. You can only shecht one. And the second one you leave in the bore and you throw down food to it so it doesn't die. But you can't lift it up. Rabbi says no. You can raise up the first one with the intent to shecht it, but not shecht it. Meaning, and you say, well, no, it doesn't look so good. Maybe I'll shecht the second one. Maybe it's better. Maybe it's fatter. And then umarim amal zasheni, and you make a harama and bring up the second one. And then you can shecht either one. Meaning, since there's a potential for hefsid moment that if you leave the behemoth in the bore, it might die, he says you're allowed to do this harama, lift up one with the intent, so to speak, that you're going to shecht it, then change it, say, no, perhaps this one doesn't look so good, maybe the other one is better, and take up the second one. And therefore, ostensibly, they're both for the tzorach Yom Tov. You can only shecht one of them. So let's say that this is the same machlekes, whether you're allowed to do a harama on Shabbos or Yom Tov, the tzorach hefsid moment. Do we allow you to do extra tircha to avoid hefsid moment? Can you make a harama with that? Or says might. How do you say that? Who says that one is totally on the other? Dilma Arkan Loi Kama Rabbi Eliezer Hasum Dav Shaparnos. Maybe Rabbi Eliezer only did not allow to make the harama over there because you can feed the animal over there. You don't have to bring it up. And therefore, it's not so likely that there's going to be a hefsid. But over here, you don't have an alternative. And therefore, if you don't make harama, it's going to lead to a hefsid. So maybe here, in this case of the barrel on the roof, he would allow it. Or perhaps even over there, the reason Rav Yeshua's makel is not only because of the hefsid moment, it's because of the tsar balei chaim, the tsar of the animal that's stuck in the bore, and it causes it anguish and pain, and that's why he was makel. But over here, in our case, there's no tsar balei chaim who says he would allow it. Perhaps he would not. So you have no raya that the one is totally on the other. If he already saved from the fire, he saved bread that's made out of good flour, fine flour, he cannot save for bread that is made out of flour that's inferior, because this is not a haroma that would make any, would be implausible. Person, if he has good bread already, why would he need bad bread? For tzorach, the Suda Shabbos, he has the good bread. Why would he take the inferior bread? But pas hadro, matzah pas lekia. But if he saved pas hadro, which is inferior, hadro means the hadar, the beauty of it has been removed. It's inferior. Then he can still be matzah pas lekia, because this is something that he has better bread, and he wants to use the better bread for the Suda of Shabbos. If Yom Kippur fell out on Erev Shabbos, he can be matzal for the purpose of the next day for Shabbos, even though on Yom Kippur he can't eat it, but he can be matzal for Shabbos. But if Yom Kippur falls out on Motzei Shabbos, he can't save food that he would need from Shabbos to Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur he doesn't eat. And already by Motzei Yom Kippur he can get other food, so we do not allow him to save from Shabbos to Yom Kippur. And he certainly doesn't have to say from Shabbos to Yontiv, because after Shabbos he'll get other food for Yontiv, and not from one Shabbos to the following week's Shabbos. Those he's not allowed to say for those purposes. If a person left bread in the tanner, those days they used to stick the dough to the sides of the walls of the oven, and then have to remove them with a baker's pan, or a knife as a shinoi, but they used to move it with a utensil and move it off. They remove it from the side of the oven. So if he forgot, and he left on Erev Shabbos, he left the dough in the oven. And now it's Shabbos. Matzil and Mazon Shalosh Sudas. He's only allowed to remove what he needs for the 3 Sudas of Shabbos. But he can tell other people, go, you take for yourselves and take the bread that you would need for your sudas as well. When he removes the dough and moves the bread that's stuck to the side of the oven, he shouldn't remove it in the normal way with the baker's paddle. Ella b'sakin, he should use a shimi with a knife. Why is that so? Why does he need that? He learned, it says, you can't do a malacha, yotza, tekiya shefer, or diyas apashi, chachma vein malacha, which exclude these cases. That's not a malacha. It's a chachma, but it's not a malacha. So these things are not also. Now the way Taisus learns it is, it's not a malacha, but it is an Isur D'Rabbanan. But I'll call upon him, so even though it's also midrabanan, but letzorach shalosh sudais, it should be mutter. I think more answers, but still you should make a shinoi and therefore use it with a knife and not with a mirda, and not with the baker's paddle. That's the way Tosfos learns it. The way the Ran learns it is that it's zikr, it's not a deraisa, it's not done in the Mishkan. There's no reason to have to learn out that this is not a malacha. This was not done for the purpose of building the Mishkan. Why should I think that this would be a malacha? It means to say that it's not even a shus d'Rabbanan. All it is uvda d'chol. So what's the problem over here? Mara says, but nevertheless, he should still do a shinoi, and if it's possible to use a shinoi, do a shinoi. A person should go early. It's brought down halacha in Shulchan Aruch that a person should, preparations for the Suda of Shabbos should be done first thing in the morning, early in the morning on Shabbos. So it says that they should prepare what they bring. Now, so we make a comparison between the preparations for the Suda and the bringing. Now, we know by the man, it says, they gather the man early in the morning. So therefore, the preparations and the expenditures for the Suda Shabbos should be done first thing, Erev Shabbos in the morning. A person needs lechem mishla on Shabbos. So he should be Beitzea, he should cut the bread and break the bread on two kikoros, on 2 loaves. Dirshu lechem Mishnah, they gathered a double portion Erev Shabbos of the Mon. It's lechem Mishnah, and therefore a person should have the sudas that he has, the kikoros that he has, he should have to make a zecher for this nace and lechem Mishnah. Now, the lashon of the Gemara over here says is b'Shabbos chayev adam. Now, normally chayev indicates a chiyuv d'oraisa, and the Taz holds that this is a chiyuv d'oraisa. Magen Avraham says no, it's the Rabbanan. The Chasam Sofer, and this is an interesting Chasam Sofer. It says midoraisa there's a chiyuv to do more than one. It doesn't have to be dafka lechem Mishnah. The Rabbanan it's 2. It's lechem Mishnah 2 loaves, but midoraisa there's a chiyuv to do more than one. So this union of lechem Mishnah, according to some of the poskim, has a deraisadik connotation to it, or the deraisadik chiyuv to it. He picked up two of the loaves, lechem Mishnah, but he only cut one of them. It says that they gathered a double portion. Not that they had to cut a double portion. Meaning the chiyuv is only to pick up the dot, to be beitzea on a lechem Mishnah. You pick up the 2 loaves and you're saying the bracha, but only cutting only has to be done with one. Rabbi Zera have about kol shirus. He would, when he cut a piece of bread, he would break a piece that he was so large that he would need for use for the whole meal. I mean, he wanted to show the chavivas of the mitzvah that he cut a large portion, a portion that he would need for the whole meal. Doesn't this look like someone who's fressing? He takes such a big piece. Doesn't that look improper? He said, since he doesn't do it during the week, it doesn't look at it because normally that's only for Shabbos, so it's nikir that it's for the chavivas of the mitzvah. Rabbi Ami of Ravasi Miklu rifted Ruva, when it happened to be that the bread, the pas that they use for the Erev Chatzeres that they marve the Chatzeres together, they put the bread, the pas, in one of the houses of the Chatzer. When it came to them, when they had the bread of the Erev Chatzeres, the Sharlaveh, they would make their maitzi, they would say for the Suda, they would use that for the Suda and make a maitzi on Omri. As I said, since one mitzvah, I have one mitzvah that came with it, I'll do another mitzvah with it. So they wanted to be marba the mitzvah with it. And that's that Indian that if you once a mitzvah is done with it, you should be marba and do another mitzvah with it. So they were beitzea on the bread of their chaseres. And we have that's also negea, that more commonly in the case of the Erev Tavshilin, it's the same type of Indian. When you have the pas of the Erev Tavshilin, so it's used for the Suda for Shabbos as well, to do another mitzvah with it.